Well, here's the thing. I believe that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are trying to pitch Jason Garrett to stay with the organization in some capacity. He's not going to be the head coach in 2020, but maybe an advisory role or a consulting role, because you don't need 3 meetings to determine whether or not he deserves the opportunity to be the head coach. I think that's already been decided. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to stay within the organization. You know that Jason Garrett played as a quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys, and then he spent over a decade as a coach in some capacity with the organization. So you recognize that Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones have an affinity toward him. He's proven that he can work with those guys, be collaborative in terms of coming up with ideas and being able to implement them with the football team. But the results on the field just haven't worked out. And from that standpoint is why you can't justify bringing him back as your head coach next season.
Yeah, you certainly can't give him another opportunity to go 8-8. And the message to the football team is obviously been stale. You have so much talent on the football team, and they just can't find a way to win. That's why they're 8-8, and that's why coaches get fired. But I think when you spend over 20 years with an organization like Jason Garrett did with the Dallas Cowboys, you have to accumulate some respect. And I think that Jerry Jones gave him that respect to say, okay, have those exit meetings with your players, have the exit meetings with your staff and the people in the building, and then go out there. And if there's a possibility that we can find a space for you in the organization, whether it's a senior advisor or whatever, we'll give you that opportunity while you source out the other opportunities that you have across the league. And I think these last few days, that's exactly what's been going on. Jason Garrett has been calling around trying to figure out, can I be a head coach here? Do I have an opportunity in New York? Do I have other opportunities to be a coordinator somewhere else? And finally, yesterday, they were like, okay, enough is enough, or early this morning, enough is enough. We're going to now move forward and get rid of you, Jason Garrett. And now he'll go out there and find a job. He'll get some other opportunities, though.
With that said, it's still, while Ed Werder's reporting, I'm sure, is totally buttoned up, it should be noted the Cowboys are still yet to make the official announcement. Right. There's no official word from Jason Garrett. I only say that because this story will linger until the Cowboys officially have either a Jerry Jones press conference or a press release that says Jason Garrett will not be retained past this season to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So why would it take so long is what I asked you. My hypothesis is maybe a little more, I don't want to say nefarious, but a little less X's and O's football, a little less logical, I think, for some, but very logical for Jerry Jones, which is Jerry Jones is a master marketer and better at manipulating media than he is at anything with football, and he's good with some football things. And yesterday I used the example of Lakers, Yankees, Cowboys, the 3 benchmark franchises in sports, and the Lakers and Yankees have obviously done a lot more winning, certainly over the last quarter century, if not the totality of their franchises, than the Cowboys. But it got me thinking about when George Steinbrenner first bought the Yankees. In his first 23 years, how many managers did he have? 20, not 20 different people, but 20 managerial changes, including during the time the Yankees were the least relevant of any time in their history, that period right after the late 70s, early 80s, that drought in the mid-80s, late 80s to early 90s, Billy Martin is fired and brought back, fired and brought back. The Yankees find a way to stay in the news. And I feel like some of this is Jerry Jones taking a page out of that book. The elongated Ezekiel Elliott holdout, where it'd be one thing if Zeke holds out and then it's like, wow, Zeke folded. He got under Todd Gurley money. He got more than Melvin Gordon was looking for, but no, he got exactly what he wanted, the most money any running back's ever gotten. So why did that take so long? Because Jerry had it be a long, drawn-out process. We now have had, since the Cowboys have been eliminated, a week of stories about what's going on with Jason Garrett. We will now have a week of stories about who are they interviewing, and then a few days of who they finally hired. It's been a way for the Cowboys, in my estimation, to stay in the news, which is the one thing, more so than execution on the football field, they have been best at over the Jason Garrett era. But I'll spin it forward to this. What do you think, Brian, is the most important quality or characteristics of the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, when you look at the team, they have talent at the quarterback position, and Dak had a record type of year this season. Obviously, you know what Zeke's going to bring you. Amari Cooper, Randall Cobb, all Michael Gallup. They're all receivers that can get things done on the outside. So offensively, you have the ability to go make plays. You have guys that can get it done. You have to have someone that can galvanize that offense. You have to bring the offense together, but also be able to get downfield. You need more explosive plays. You don't need to be thinking about, we're going to hand the ball off to Zeke, we're going to hand the ball off to Zeke. technique, and then maybe on third down we'll try to run a play action. At some point, you got to throw the ball down the field. This offense needs motion, needs more creativity. You need some special plays. You have the guys to do it. And so offensively, when you talk about a head coach, you have to find a guy that can bring a different style of offense to this organization. And I wouldn't be surprised. And again, we were talking about what took so long to get Jason Garrett out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if Kellen Moore, if guys that were in the building already, those types of contract negotiations were done with Jason Garrett as well. Do you think that Kellen Moore should stay? Do you think other people that are inside the building currently should stay?
That they were picking his brain in those meetings?
Absolutely. You're picking his brain about all those things. Jason Garrett's been there for a long time. He knows Jerry Jones just about as well as anybody in the NFL. And so if you can't ask Jason Garrett what we should do next with this organization, who can you really ask? And so I think that's been part of it. When you talk about head coaching, you got to find a guy that can get the best out of this offense and this players. They have to open things up just a bit.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up Kellen Moore because the report came out yesterday that Jason Garrett was lobbying for play calling responsibilities if he wasn't going to get the contract extension this past offseason, and Jerry Jones declined his request and elevated Kellen Moore to the offensive coordinator. It should be noted that this was the first year in the Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott era of Cowboy football where they did not win time of possession. So they didn't play complimentary football because they had a rookie play caller in Kellen Moore. And so the fate of their head coach hinged on a guy that has never done the job before. And as you know, Nick, with any new job, any new role, there's a learning curve. And in a season with these types of expectations, it's unfortunate for Jason Garrett that this is one of the consequences from Jerry Jones deciding to go with Kellen Moore as the OC. But in terms of the characteristics that you're looking for in your next head coach, you want somebody that knows what the hell they're doing in terms of program building. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys under Jerry Jones, when they've had success, they had Jimmy Johnson and they had Bill Parcells. Guys that know how to build program, know how to establish structure within an organization in order to have sustained winning. They need somebody that has the credentials, the resume to be able to push back against Jerry Jones and for him to understand these are football decisions. Allow football people to take care of it. I think you need that type of personality, especially when you're talking about playing under a microscope in Dallas.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you're saying someone who's been an NFL head coach before.
Yes.
So not Matt Rule, not Lincoln Riley, at least in your estimation, someone who has been a head coach before and understands the requisite things that go into building a sustained, long-term, successful organization. I agree with you that it should be someone with NFL head coaching experience, unless it's Urban Meyer. I think Urban Meyer has done enough at enough different stops, had coached enough guys that became pros, and has more of a cachet than Matt Rule could build at Baylor in 20 years, more of a cachet than Lincoln Riley even has, given the amazing things he's done with the quarterbacks at Oklahoma. I think that is the one person that does not have head coaching experience that I think could have the power of personality in a locker room where grown men sit up straight and say, okay, this is our leader. But other than that, Josh McDaniels' his name a lot of people are going to bring up. I think it's a really smart one, but whether it's Urban, Josh McDaniels, or mystery candidate X, the one thing Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells have in common is ever since Jerry Jones fired Tom Landry right after he got to the Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells are the only two coaches he has paid top dollar for. He has never believed you have to pay your head coach a ton of money, except for in those two instances. Jimmy Johnson brought him 2 Super Bowls, built the team that won a third, and Bill Parcells helped build a team that got him back into the playoffs, and the year after he left, they went 13-3, as you mentioned yesterday. Since then, they've gone in-house, cheaper, tried to find another way, and it has not worked out. I wonder if Jerry, as he enters the twilight, if he's more willing to say, you know what, this is ultimately going to be Steven's money anyway. Might as well spend it on trying to get another Super Bowl.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.